Hello everyone. I hope you all are safe and healthy. In today's session, we are starting with a new chapter for 11th Commerce Elements of Accounts Part 1. The name of the chapter is chapter number 2, Dual Effect of Transactions and Types of Accounts. In first chapter, as a student of 11, we have studied what is accounting, the definition given by different authorities of accounting, then advantages of accounting, disadvantages, then who are the users of accounting system, as well as we have seen the different terminologies related with the accounting. We have already discussed 45 different types of terminology, and at the end we have seen what is the steps which we are going to follow when we are going to make any kind of books of accounts. So till now we have discussed these things. For that particular chapter, I have uploaded 5 different parts where 45, 46 different terminologies are explained. So I expect everyone, please see that first. Then we will start with the new chapter. So in this particular part, we are starting with a new chapter, that is dual effect of transactions and types of account. As you already know, dual effect of transaction, that means every transaction, every event has two types of effects. One that is debit effect and second is credit one. When one we will put as a debit and second we will put as a credit, then ultimately we are going to make the complete total of both of these. Then we will also discuss the types of accounts. Here there are three different types, that is real, personal and nominal. But for now we have just made this thumbnail. Don't go in detail to this. Just starting with a chapter. I hope you have liked, share and subscribe to the channel. Let's start the session. First of all, what is the meaning of business transaction? As you know, in accounting, we are only inputting the data which are economic in nature. Economic, that means something should be exchanged over there. Okay, monetary benefits should be there. The term money should be used in that. That will be considered as an economic transaction. Now, what is business transaction? So first of all, what is our first step? You know, what is the process which we are following when we are keeping books of accounts? The first step we are following, that is preparation account with the help of identification of the transaction. So first, how we are going to identify the transaction, whether it is a transaction is business transaction or not, or it is a economic transaction or the non-economic one, we have to identify that. So see the first one first. When we are creating any kind of accounts, first you should keep in mind it has to be a business transaction. Everything which is related to the business should be entered over here. Okay, it has to be a business transaction. Second, if that is a business transaction, okay, but it should also be economic in nature. Economic, that means monetary terms should be there. It something in return should be there. Okay, so if there is a economic transaction, that means the terms money are used over here, then it is okay. We are going to add that. Third one, that is economic transaction should have some monetary values. Monetary value definitely should be there. Fourth, if the monetary value is there, it should be cash or the credit form. Any of them can be there. If someone has decided, let me pay the amount in cash, then it is okay. If someone has decided to pay the amount after 10 or 15, then it is also considered as a business transaction. Okay, and a business transaction can be internal or the external one. Okay, so whether your insiders, that means inside parties, can also add up the product, or external products can be taken by any of them. So both will be included in business transaction. Now, what is the real meaning of this business transaction? So business transaction means the exchange of products or services Products, that means your goods or the services. Now goods, that means the things which are tangible in nature. You can touch them, you can feel them. And services, that means the things which are intangible in nature. You cannot touch that, you cannot feel that. This kind of services of a business for cash and or credit. That means whether the transaction is cash, maybe it can be for credit, it can be both of them, between two or more than two persons. That means it should be between two or the other people. For example, if I am purchasing and if I am selling, that is not considered. There should be two different parties, otherwise more than two, that is also allowed. So two or more parties should be included in this particular contract, then only it is considered as a business transaction. Ultimately, what should be there? Exchange of products should be there, or services, goods or services should be there. Whether the transaction can be cash or credit, cash and credit, or the transaction should be done between the two or more persons, then it is considered as a business transaction. But it should fulfill all these conditions first, then we will go to the this one. Now we have classified the business transaction into two different parts. One, that is economic transaction, and second is non-economic transaction. Okay, now what is economic transaction? Where something in return should be there, monetary terms should be there, monetary value of the transaction should be there. And what is non-economic in nature? There should not be any kind of monetary values over here, then it is considered as a non-economic transaction. Now economic transactions are also divided into two different types. One, that is cash and credit transaction, and second, that is your internal or the external transaction. Again, the cash and credits are divided into three different parts. One, that is cash, second is credit, and third is the other transaction. And now we have different two parts, that is internal transaction and the external. That means only non-economic transaction doesn't have any kind of parts, but economic transaction are divided into two: cash or credit, internal or external, and cash, credit, and other, here internal and external transactions. So we will classify the business transaction as per this particular chart. Okay, understood? Next, starting with the first one, economic transaction. Now what is called as economic transaction? First of all, only and only economic transactions are going to be recorded into books of accounts. That means the transaction which have some monetary values, only that things are going to be recorded in economic transaction in the books of accounts. Okay. Then two major components are there that we should keep in mind when we are preparing books of accounts. First one, that is exchange of cash for assets, goods or services. And second, that is creation of relationship between the debtor and the creditor for assets, goods or services. Now there are two different things, whether we can do a transaction in cash form or on a credit form. Okay, when we do it in a credit form, then there will be two parties. Two parties should be debtors and the creditors. Debtors, that means from whom we have to take the money. That means we have sold some of our products to him, and that party have to give you the money. That is called as your debtor. Now what is called as creditor? For example, if you have purchased something from someone, for example, I have purchased few goods from Viral sir, then I will be considered as a Viral sir will be considered as my creditor. That means I have to give him the amount after end of the duration. This will be considered as a current liability as well. Then there are three different concepts. One, that is goods and services, we have already discussed in previous slide. What is assets? The things which are tangible or intangible in nature, but it is going to be used for numbers of years, that will be considered as your assets. Okay, example, machinery, building, plant, land and building, these all things, patent, trademark, copyright, goodwill, these all things will be considered as your assets. So two components are there, whether we will exchange our cash for assets, goods or services, or whether we will create the relationship of debtors and creditors for assets, goods and services. These two components are going to be introduced when we are creating the economic transaction. Then Paras is in the business, let's take an example. Paras is in the business of furniture manufacturing. What business he is doing? He is manufacturing the furnitures, Paras. He purchases wood costing 30,000. What he has done? He has purchased the goods of rupees 30,000, whether in a cash form or credit form, from some of the person. So is it a business transaction? Yes. What is his business? His business is furniture manufacturing. If a furniture manufacturer purchase wood, that is his raw material, that means it's a business transaction. Simple. So we have to give this kind of answer in this particular chapter. Very easy to understand. Next, the economic transactions are divided into three parts. One, that is cash transaction, credit transaction, and other transaction that we already seen in the chart. But let discuss it in detail. First one, that is cash transaction. Now what is called as your cash transaction? So again, the cash transaction has different four types. Whether you are purchasing assets, whether you are purchasing goods, services, or the receivables or payables. You know the concept of receivable and payable. We have already discussed this in first chapter. Now starting with this one, cash transaction for assets. For example, if you have purchased any kind of plant or machinery and you have paid the amount in cash, then it is considered as a cash transaction for assets. See this? In this category of assets is purchased by the payment of money. What we have done? We have paid the money, or money is realized by sale of the assets. Ultimately, we have sold that particular product in the market, and from that we have got the money. That is called as your cash transaction. Okay. That means by selling or by purchasing, if we are going to get the money or if we are paying the money in cash form, that is considered as a cash transaction of your assets. Assets, that means the things which we are going to use for numbers of times and numbers of years. Okay, tangible and intangible in nature. Let's take an example. Furniture worth rupees 10,000 purchased for business. What we have done? We have purchased a new furniture for the business, that is of rupees 10,000. That is a cash transaction. What we have purchased? Furniture. Furniture is an assets. We are going to use it for numbers of years. Okay. Then a scooter sold for rupees 40,000. A scooter which you have. You have already used that scooter for numbers of years. That is your fixed assets. And that assets you have sold for 40,000. That means you are going to get 40,000 rupees. This is a cash transaction for the assets. Next one, that is cash transaction for goods. We have seen for assets. Now here you see for the goods. What we are doing? We are exchanging money, and from that we are giving some goods, or we are purchasing some goods from the person. Let's take an example. Goods worth rupees 15,000 is purchased in cash. What we have done? We have purchased a goods of rupees 15,000. Okay. So what we have done? We got the goods. We are going to pay the amount in cash. Simple. Second example. Goods of rupees 18,000 is sold in cash. What we have done? We have sold our goods in cash. That means what we are going to get? We are going to get the money, and the other party is going to get the goods which is sold by us. Okay. Third part. Cash transaction for services. What we have done? We have given some acquired services, and for that we have received some cash. Example, for example, we have paid the salary to the employees. Okay. Now anyone know the difference between the wage and the salary? Wages, that means if you have done any kind of physical work, for that we are going to pay the wages. And if we are going to give the salary, that means that person is doing some mental works. So that is the basic difference between these two. Okay. So what we have done? We have paid the salary to the employee for 15,000. Ultimately, the amount is paid in cash. For the services he has done, we had paid him the salary. So that is considered as a cash transaction for the services. Same way, brokerage. He has given his excellence in convincing the person. For that, we have given him the brokerage of rupees 9,000. So this is for his excellent services. Understood? Next one, transaction for receivables or payables. Now what is called as transaction for receivables or payables? You know the meaning of receivables and payables. See here, any amount which is outstanding to pay for assets, goods or services acquired in past is known as your payables. We have to pay the amount, okay, that is outstanding in nature, that will be considered as payables. If we haven't paid, that means payables. If we are going to receive, that means receivables. Simple. Okay. Next, any amount which is outstanding to receive for assets, goods or services provided in the past will be considered as an receivables. Simple. We are going to receive the amount. It means it is considered as our receivables. Ultimately, for payables or receivables, if we are going to get the amount in cash, then it is considered as a cash transaction for receivables and payables. Understood? Let's take an example. The outstanding payment of rupees 3000 for the purchase from Ramila. Now, what is there? Goods are purchased from Ramila. Ramila has purchased some goods from us. Outstanding payment is 30,000. If she paid the amount in cash, then it is considered as a transaction for receivables because we are going to receive the amount. Okay. Next, second part of economic activity, that is credit transaction. Now, what is called as credit transaction? Cash transaction, that means on immediate time you are going to pay the cash amount. But when there is a credit transaction, the money is not going to be paid immediately. On the same time, we are not going to pay the amount. Okay. Now, for purchase or sale of assets, goods or services, we are not paying the immediate money. That will be considered as your credit transaction. That means ultimately these accounts are going to be settled in the future. After 10 days, 15 days, 30 days, 300 days, we are going to pay the amount. So that is considered as your credit transaction. On the credit of the other person, we are going to pay the amount. For example, I have sold some goods to someone on the credit of 15 days. That means that person has a credit of 15 days to purchase the goods from me. Okay, let's take an example. Goods of rupees 4000 is sold to Kalpana on credit. We have sold our goods to Kalpana. We have given goods to her. We haven't received any amount. Even though this is considered as a business transaction. Why? We are going to get the amount after some time. After the end of the credit duration, the accounts are going to be settled in that particular time. So this is economic in nature. This is not considered as a non-economic transaction. Okay. Now, part number C, that is your other transactions. So cash transaction we have seen. Now we have seen credit transaction. Here we will discuss the other transaction. Now what is called as other transaction? The transaction that do not fall in the above mentioned two of them, that will be considered as a other transaction. Whether they are not in cash form, whether they are not in credit form. For example, every year we are going to depreciate our assets. For example, we have purchased an assets of rupees 1 lakh rupees. So do you think after selling that particular asset, we have purchased plant and machinery of rupees 1 lakh? So if we are going to sell that particular product, is there any kind of improvement we are going to get? No, we are not going to get any kind of improvements. For that, we have to calculate the depreciation. So it is just an internal transaction of the business. So that is considered as your other transaction. We don't have to pay any kind of amounts for this. Okay. Next one, that is internal and external transaction viewpoint. Now, what is called as internal transaction? When there is no party which is included in the transaction. That means we done a loss from natural calamities. Due to coronavirus, we have survived some issues, and due to that we have to face some issues, and after that the business has incurred a loss due to that. So that is considered as your internal transaction. Okay. Now what is external transaction? When there are transaction between the business and the parties, business of XYZ Limited and it is done a contract with some of the parties, then it is considered as a external transaction. So these transactions are economic in nature. For example, sale of goods to the customer. We have sold our goods to the customer. There are two parties. One is seller and second is purchaser. Payment of wages to the worker. That means the relation of employer and employee will be there. Interest received on bank. The transaction, we have put our money over there. That means there we have given some assets to them and they are going to pay interest on it. Then amount paid in insurance premium. We have given, there is a contract between a person and the insurance company. Then purchase of machinery, we have purchased the goods. Machinery, that means your assets. For that we are paid some amount. Same way we have deposited our cash into bank. We have given our cash. The banks has collected that cash. On that they are going to pay the interest. So they are the external parties. So these are some external transactions. Understood? Next. What is considered as a non-economic transaction? Which in which transaction, if the term money is not used, then it is considered as a non-economic transaction. That means, first of all, we are not going to record any kind of things which are non-economic in nature. Okay. Second thing, there is no significance of non-economic transaction in the accounting. We are not going to mention anything in this one. Okay. Now, what is the real definition of it? Non-economic transaction are those transactions whose whole value cannot be measured in terms of money. For example, we have received an order to supply some goods after 1 month. There is a contract between two parties. We mutually get agreed to sell our product or purchase our product, and they told you just send some goods after 10 days. So this is a future contract. For that you are not going to get any kind of money, so that is considered as non-economic transaction. We cannot make a entry of it. Okay. Next, the meeting held with the consultants for expansion of our business. For example, if you have a big venture and there are hundreds number of people who are working over there, if you want to expand your sales, what you need to do, you need to conduct a meeting from which way, by which way we can expand our business. Okay. Finally they got agreed to come over there. Finally there is a meeting held at a place. Afterwards you come on some conclusion, but is there any kind of money is measured in that? We are going to increase our sale by 1000 unit, 5000 unit. Whether it is actually happened or not, it is not happened. So that is non-economic in nature, as it is a most qualitative manner, but even though we are not going to measure it. Okay. So that is non-economic transaction. Understood? Now let's solve the illustration. This is the first illustration of your second chapter. Illustration number 1. Describe whether the following transactions are economic or non-economic transactions and clarify the reasons of it. So here there are 11 different transactions. Here are the answers. These are the answers. But just see this one. First transaction, assets purchased for a business of rupees 10,000. What we have done? We have purchased some assets. Whether it is in cash form or is in credit form, any of them, we have purchased it. So ultimately it is economic in nature. Okay. So what is the reason? Cash is paid against the assets. For the purchase of this particular asset, we have paid the cash. So that is economic in nature. Money should be there. Okay. So we have to divide it in economic and non-economic part, and then we will decide. So as you know, in previous slide, there are two aspects. One, that is exchange of cash, and second is creation of the relationship between debtors and the creditor. So we will compare it in this way only. Let's see the second one. Assets purchased from Radha for rupees 12,000 on credit. Here, assets is purchased by Radha for rupees how much? 12,000 on credit. Whether it is a cash transaction or whether it is a credit transaction, we are going to measure both of them. That's why it is economic in nature. Understood? So what kind of relation is there? Cash word is not mentioned over here and the cash is not used. Then it is a relationship between the debtor and the creditor. Now who will become the debtor? Assets was purchased from Radha. We have purchased the assets. So we have to give the amount to Radha. In the books of Radha, we will become the debtors. That means we become the receivables. And in our book, she will become the creditor as this is our liability to pay the amount on the time. Okay. Next one, that is assets sold for rupees 20,000. We have sold the assets on which we are going to get some money. So this is economic in nature. See the reason. Cash is received again the assets. Again the assets, again the goods, again the services. All the things are going to be recorded. See the fourth one. Assets sold to Mira for rupees 22,000 on credit. Same like this. We have sold our product to Mira. Whether it is cash or credit, both are economic in nature because the relationship of debtor and creditor is there. Okay. Fifth one, paid the wages of rupees 8,000. We have paid our wages 8,000 rupees. We have already discussed the difference between the wages and the salary. Okay, the person who does the physical work is considered as a wages. The person who does the mental work, for that what remuneration we are giving, that will be considered as a salary. Okay, so again this is an economic transaction as we have paid the cash for the services. This is considered as a service. Here we haven't exchanged any goods or assets. Next, rupees 9,000 received for rent. We have given him the property, we have given him the services, he is staying in that property, he has paid the amount. So this is economic in nature. Ultimately we got the cash, transaction of money is there. So cash received against the services. So this is economic in nature. Next one, that is liability of rupees 50,000 is settled. We have a liability, we are going to pay the amount, we already paid it. So that is economic. Liability is paid in cash. Next one, receivable of rupees 18,000 is received. We have received the amount. That means cash is got by us. So this is ultimately it is income. It's an income. It's a economic transaction. Money is there. Receivable is received in cash. This is the reason. 9th, 10th and 11th are most important because these three are the non-economic one. Understand it. First one, an order is received to supply goods of rupees 10,000. An order is received. We haven't sold the product. Even this is just an order. We haven't received the amount. We haven't sent the goods to them. So that's why it is non-economic. But if I change it with just a sentence, just listen to it. An order is received to supply goods of rupees 10,000 and we have supplied the goods. Then it becomes the economic. Okay. Whether it is paid on credit or whether it is paid in cash, then it will be considered as an economic. But here we just received the order. We haven't sold the product to them. So that is non-economic in nature. Okay. Next, a planning is made to buy the assets. We just made the planning. We haven't purchased the asset. We haven't sold it. There is no cash transaction, credit transaction, or any of the transactions is there. We have just made a consent that we are going to buy the product, buy the assets. So that's why it is non-economic in nature. Okay. And the last one, to enhance the sale for the discussion, a meeting is arranged for by the salesman with the salesmen. So this is the example which already we have discussed. This is non-economic in nature. Why? Because the term cash, credit, debtor relation, creditor relation is not used over anywhere. We just arrange a meeting where we are only discussing how we can build up or how we can increase the sales in our particular business. Okay. So that is it for today. If you have any doubt, you can mention that in comment section. Please start to make the notes of this will help you in future perspective. Okay, that's all for today. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Share it to the maximum people who are studying in 11th commerce. because it will help them to understand accountancy in a better way. I am uploading the videos for the 11th and 12th commerce for the subject of economics and accountancy Gujarat board. Okay. Any doubt, any query, please mention that in comment section. I will try to solve it as soon as possible. Thank you so much. That's all for today. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.